So, you'd like to attempt a natural labor and delivery, but you're not really sure where to begin preparing for it. If you're a first-time mom, it can feel especially intimidating, not really knowing what to expect with birth. I successfully naturally gave birth to my daughter for the first time with no pain medication and no unwanted interventions, and so I wanted to make this video to share all of the things that I did and found most helpful in preparing for natural birth. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. I am Merrit. I am a first-time mom to one 16-month-old daughter. I am a stay-at-home mom and I share content all around helping moms on my channel. I like to share things about gentle parenting, attachment parenting, non-toxic living, learning through play, and all of that fun stuff for raising your kiddo. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, I would love to have you following along. Please hit that subscribe button so you can watch all of my future videos. Today, like I mentioned, we are going to be talking about my top tips for preparing for a natural birth. I knew from the very beginning of my pregnancy that I wanted to attempt a natural labor and delivery. I am, I guess what you would call a very crunchy mom. I like living a very natural, non-toxic lifestyle, and so I knew I wanted to kind of carry that over into my pregnancy and birth experience. And so going medication-free was very important to me, but I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. Obviously, birth is kind of known for being very painful, and never having experienced it before and not really knowing what to expect I was a little unsure if I would actually make my birth goals into a reality. And I want to kind of also preface this by saying that I don't have anything against mamas who do decide that the epidural is for them. I am a fan of modern medicine and I am so grateful that that is an option. And I honestly, going into birth, I was kind of open to the fact that I might just get there and realize that, wow, this is not what I expected. I would like an epidural. So by saying that I wanted a natural birth and giving tips on how to successfully achieve a natural birth, I don't want anyone to misinterpret and think that I actually have anything against epidurals. I just personally really wanted to experience, I wanted to fully physically feel the experience of birth and delivering my daughter, and that's not for everyone, and I totally recognize that. But if it is for you and you would like to attempt that, I pulled together a list of things that I found was really, really helpful in helping me feel confident and prepared and ready to attempt a natural birth. And in the end, it was successful. I, like I said, had my daughter without any unwanted medical intervention. And I definitely contribute that fact to my preparation and these things that I'm going to share with you, and making sure I had the right physical and mental kind of preparations in place going into the labor experience. So without further ado, let's dive on into these natural birth tips. Okay, so the first tip is actually a tip that all mamas, whether they want a natural birth or not, could benefit from. And this is creating a birth plan. Now, I know a lot of people say that you can't plan birth, and I absolutely, obviously agree with that. However, I think it is nice to have an outline in your mind of ideally how you would like things to go, so that if you are faced with a choice or a decision, you kind of know your priorities and goals and what you are willing to kind of flex on and what you aren't willing to flex on, unless it's an emergency situation, obviously. So having that kind of birth plan and guide there to help you just, again, be aware of your ideal birth, and to also help your providers provide that birth for you is immeasurably helpful. I wrote it out and I brought it into my midwife during, some of our prenatal appointments and went over it with her to make sure we were both on the same page. And I did bring it to the hospital, and honestly, I wasn't really expecting much of anything to happen with it there. But to my surprise, every single nurse that came in to check on me and to be a part of my treatment team asked if I had a birth plan, went over the entire thing, like actually stood there and read the entire, I think it was like a page and a half or something like that, like double spaced lines. It wasn't just like block text. I had like a little outline written. And actually read through the whole thing and remembered it, like, surprisingly. I was really impressed with how they followed my birth plan. So if you think that it's just going to be a waste of time and they won't pay attention to it, I actually had the experience that they really paid very close attention to my birth plan and respected my wishes. So I do not think that it was a waste of time, and I definitely plan to do so with my next pregnancies as well. But again, birth is unpredictable, so just kind of go into it knowing that this is the birth plan, but plans can change and be flexible, and your wants might kind of change in the moment. But again, having that initial outline going into things, I found, was extremely helpful. Now, as far as managing the discomfort that you'll feel during labor and delivery, I personally decided to go down the hypnobirthing route, since I wanted to avoid all pain medications. you have to have some sort of plan in place to deal with the contractions and the discomfort. You'll notice that I'm saying discomfort rather than pain, because that is a very important point in hypnobirthing, is reframing your views around birth and the experiences that go along with it. Rather than saying, the contractions or the pain, you can say the waves or the discomfort or the pressure or the intensity, so that you're kind of tricking your mind into thinking that this isn't some horrible, big, scary, painful, awful thing. It's actually a beautiful and natural and a temporary thing that you will go through with the purpose of bringing your child into the world. And so having that reframed mindset, again, is really important. And there's no getting around it. Everyone knows that birth is uncomfortable, but again, kind of viewing the contractions as, tightening and waves. It was a really good way to kind of get my mind on board with staying calm and relaxing my muscles, because again, when you're relaxed, your muscles will relax, and contractions will be less intense because you won't be fighting the contractions, you'll be working with them. So going back to the hypnobirthing technique, I read one book on the subject, and that is the Hypnobirthing book. I will leave it in the description box below. I believe I read it twice maybe in my pregnancy. Once kind of, slowly all the way through, really, really soaking in everything I could. And then again, I think in the last trimester or something like that, I quickly skimmed through it again just to make sure everything was kind of refreshed in my mind. I loved that book. While I am a very crunchy and natural and holistic kind of minded mama, I am also very science based, I guess. I really believe in science, and so the way this book was formatted, it really kind of provided the structure for doing a hypnobirthing, natural holistic birth, with kind of science and data to back it up. And it really explained your body's physical processes that it goes through in, the stages of labor and all the different things, and how you can kind of work, again, with your body and its natural physical processes to easily and as pain-free as possible give birth. And so having that really concrete, down-to-earth way of having things explained to me, rather than a whole bunch of, just kind of fluffiness. There was, mindset work and stuff, and I found that, again, incredibly helpful. For example, having some visualization practices that they go over in the book, which some would consider a little fluffier. But having kind of the combination of the two, I just could not recommend that book highly enough. It's also a really easy and quick read. It's a little paperback about that thick, I think. It really didn't take a whole lot of effort to get through. I was one of those moms, I totally planned to read through like every single baby, pregnancy book out there, like What to Expect When You're Expecting. I think I read one chapter of that. I had multiple other books, and none of them I even came close to finishing it. But that book I was able to easily get through. So it's not another daunting thing to add to your to-do list, because I know as a nesting pregnant mama, your energy is limited. After you have your birth plan and have read the Hypnobirthing book, I think the next most important thing is to get your partner on board with your ideal birth plan. So your partner is your support person in labor. They are truly such an important, critical part of your birth experience and helping you through the process and really going through it with you. Whether that be your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, even a parent or a sibling, whoever you choose to be your support person during birth needs to have an intimate knowledge of exactly what you want in birth and how you want them to support you. So at certain times I wanted my husband to kind of being, talking to me, just it really didn't matter what he said. He could have just been spouting off nonsense, but I needed something to kind of focus on, to listen to, so that I wasn't focusing on the discomfort that I was in. Other times I just needed him to be quiet and let me just, kind of go into my mind and just, kind of zen out and kind of go into, I guess, a little bit of hypnosis and kind of deal with things that way. So again, kind of going through, first of all, hypnobirthing and all that entails, so they know kind of what to expect with that and how you're trying to manage pain that way. It's also really helpful to have another advocate there for your ideal birth, because again, birth can get pretty intense, especially when you are going the natural route, and at certain points you may not be, not that you're not able, but you may be less than able, I guess, to kind of advocate for yourself and really to be present and speaking with your medical team. And so having your partner there who knows your birth plan, knows exactly, what you want, and can kind of speak for you and tell nurses or doctors, yes, she wants this, no, she doesn't want that, it's incredibly helpful. And so you can kind of just deal on your focus on yourself. You don't have to really worry about anything around the outside world. And having that partner there is just unbelievably invaluable. In addition to that, I would definitely recommend taking a birth class. The one thing I really found helpful about taking the birth class was going through kind of pain management techniques with your partner. So different ways that they can rub your back, different supports that they can do to kind of hold you up, to take pressure off of your back because your back can start to hurt. Just kind of a bunch of different positions that you can get in with your partner, either, you know, massaging you or, you know, helping you rock or whatever. It was really, really helpful, so that we kind of had like a playbook to run through of ways that my husband could actually help me deal with the pain, relieve some of the discomfort, and help me get through the physical aspects of labor. So yeah, have many, many conversations with your partner about what you want, exactly how you do expect or want them to support you. Do not just expect them to read your mind and know what you will need in labor. If you don't know what you expect of them, I definitely recommend kind of just sitting down and, again, visualizing your perfect labor and kind of go through what you can expect to feel comforted by, and yeah, and then when you figure that out, share that information with your partner. So again, you both are in this together and are working towards your perfect birth as a unit. One additional thing that your partner actually can help you with before the actual birth is a perineal massage. So it is definitely recommended to start doing a perineal massage, I would say at least by the beginning of your third trimester. I think that's when we really started doing that. It kind of just helps prep the skin, get things, you know, nice and, I guess, stretched, and the skin ready to stretch out so that you don't tear. I also used a mixture of vitamin E and frankincense essential oil to help, again, prepare the skin and kind of get all of those good softening, moisturizing nutrients in there. Would they be nutrients? I don't know, but I used the oil. This time around, I was just getting into essential oils then, and so that was the only oil that I really used with my little concoction mixture, I guess. But I would probably add in helichrysum, maybe some lavender, and I'd have to look into it, but definitely probably those two off the top of my head. To add into that mixture, because those are really, really strong, powerful healing and kind of skin support oils. And yeah, I found that very helpful with the natural birth process, kind of having that area nice and prepped and ready to go. The next thing that I did to prepare for labor, and what I actually wish I had done a little bit more, was watching other moms' birth stories and birth vlogs, and kind of hearing a bunch of different stories from different moms, just to kind of know what to expect, especially as a first-time mom. I mean, there really is no real way of knowing what it's like until you go through it. And you can watch as many birth videos as you want, you still won't fully know. However, I do feel like I was more prepared than maybe like some other moms who had never really even witnessed a single live birth, either through a vlog or in real life, because, you know, seeing those moms, it's really helpful to kind of really get a first-hand look at what it's like, because you just have no idea if you haven't seen it before. And I will say, I would attempt to kind of actively seek out natural births. I think I kind of, the births that I watched, actually, I realized after birth, I really only ever watched epidural births. I didn't even really think about it. The ones that actually showed like the full, you know, labor and delivery process and really gave a raw look at it, they were all epidural births. So I don't really think that I was fully, I hadn't ever seen a natural birth, and the two definitely are quite different in, you know, how things look. So yeah, I would watch birth vlogs, and I would also watch birth stories where moms kind of walk you through the full, you know, experience that they went through with labor and delivery. And watching a bunch of different moms' experiences is nice, because you get a bunch of different experiences. No birth is exactly alike, so hearing a bunch of different experiences can only help you feel more prepared no matter what comes up, and just to kind of know what to expect. The last tactic that I used to prepare for a natural labor and birth was something that I used pretty regularly, especially up towards the end, was setting up a relaxation environment kind of cue system for me. So, like I said, I did hypnobirthing, and so they really encourage you to, again, practice your breathing techniques, practice your visualization, and really get good at relaxing your body and going into your mind and kind of just know how to relax yourself. And so I also set up various kind of cues in my environment that I would then be able to kind of carry into my birth situation. So I made a birth songs playlist. I personally preferred lots of very meditative music with no vocals. It was just all kind of instruments and, you know, just very calm meditative music. And every time I would practice my hypnobirthing, breathing, and visualization techniques, I would play that soundtrack. I also had a specific diffuser blend of essential oils that I used during birth, with oils to kind of help me feel confident, calm, relaxed, and, you know, uplifted. And so I would diffuse that blend of oils as well while I was practicing. And those kind of environmental cues really helped me to immediately get into the zone once I actually was in labor and at the hospital, because again, those environmental triggers were what I was used to hearing, smelling, experiencing when I practiced relaxation at home. So I just found that really, really helpful to recreate that calming environment as much as possible in my hotel room. I also had the lights down low. I had, like, you know, a sleep mask over my eyes if I wanted that extra kind of stimulation block. And having those really, really helped, not only actually while I was in labor, but, you know, leading up to it, to kind of help me feel confident and prepared, because I really was, you know, practicing being in labor and going through what I would do to calm my body in that situation. And actually, I have one bonus tip that I just now decided I'm going to include with you, because I didn't actually utilize this in my first pregnancy, but I do plan to in the future pregnancies, because I have since seen other mamas use it, and I just think it's such a great idea. And that is affirmation cards. And I have seen Logan Randazzo actually use it on Instagram. She has a little deck of pregnancy and birth affirmation cards that she kind of strung up above her bathtub at home, because she was actually planning a home birth. And so being able to see those birth affirmations every single day and kind of really internalize those, I think is just so, so powerful for really internalizing that confidence and trust in yourself and your body and your baby, that you are capable of doing the natural birth that you desire. I think that is just so powerful, and something that you really just want to kind of really drill into yourself, that you are fully capable, your body's got this. And I am definitely a believer in manifestation, so I believe that really believing those things in your mind will help make them a reality for your birth. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of these birth tips. I hope these tips really help you feel more confident and prepared for a natural birth. If you're currently pregnant, I would love to hear when your due date is, so I can know when all of these natural babies are expected in the world. And give this video a thumbs up if you plan to use any of these tips in your natural labor or delivery. I would love to hear what tip you found most helpful. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. And to wrap things up, I believe in you, and remember, your body was made for this. You can do this. Bye.